Ready? Rolling.
Oh my god, what I wouldn't give to be on that river right now. Seriously. It's so windy today too. You can see how it's like rippling the water all over the place. I totally missed the Arkansas song because I was looking at the river, didn't I? Yep. That sounds like me, yep. Oh well. Welcome to Arkansas. If you ain't noticed already, welcome to a little bit of a different vlog from me. Don't worry, I ain't turning into some travel vlogging YouTuber. This is just a special edition. I had all these clips and I kind of wanted to make a video of it because I was filming, of course, as I was going on this trip, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna turn it into a dopamine diary road trip edition. I don't see how they do any high-speed chases on all these pothole roads. They don't need to hit them. They just need to put them in the right pot is what they need. Put them in the right pothole. Yep. Voiceover Chey popping in real quick here to say this part of the trip was something that I was especially excited for. Me and my mom both, honestly. Hayes in Arkansas was something we were extremely excited to pass through because watching On Patrol Live is just a little family kind of tradition that we've done for the past however long it's been on, because we did it with Live PD before then. It's just something that my family does, something that we have our quality time and watch together. And our favorite department, of course, besides Richland County, is Hayes in Arkansas. I freaking love Chief Taylor. Anytime he's on TV, I'm like, Chief, Chief, Chief. It's a lake. Because I think that he is the perfect representation of just a good old southern boy kind of guy that I'm used to down here. That's a big lake. I wish I had a lake this big. And I'm like, yes, you're doing good representing the South, Chief Taylor. Just hoping that we didn't get to meet Chief or Clayton or any of them in the wrong way. I don't know. Excuse me, lake? I have a question. This probably ain't gonna be a running theme, but I just had a lot of fun filming these clips, taking a trip like this because I ain't took one in a very long time. And it was definitely a major source of dopamine for me at the beginning of the year. So I was like, you know what? Why not just include it as a special dopamine diary? So that's what you're getting. That's what we got. Welcome to the first of its kind special road trip edition of the Dopamine Diaries. Now you're probably wondering what the heck's going on, so I'll give you some context. Back in March, well, way before March, I got an invitation from I always have trouble explaining this part to people because my mouth wants to mix up the words, but my college freshman roommate, the person that I was roommates with as a college freshman at Georgetown, my friend who, I'm not going to use her name because I don't know if she'd be cool with me doing that. She sent me a message like way back in December of last year, even before December really, and was like, hey, I'm getting married, which I knew because I had seen it on her Instagram, but she was like, we have a save the date, I'd really love for you to be there, it's going to be in California, I understand if you can't come, but I'd really love for you to be there. Important context is that I had not seen her since before the Backstreet Boys tour of 2020, because she was only my freshman year roommate. We didn't room together years after that, but we remained friends, are still friends, obviously, but I hadn't seen her since 2020. And so when she invited me, of course I was like, I absolutely want to be there, and I'm glad you warned me in enough advance time that I can kind of plan it out, and luckily, me and my mom, thank you Mama Chey, we were able to make it happen. So now that's what you're witnessing. I'm trying to. I don't think you can really see it on my phone camera, but it's there. Yeah. Oh, I can see it a little bit. So when it came time in March, me and my mom were like, you know what, we're going to make a road trip of it. So we set out from Tennessee, headed to California. Why not? Let's do it. And we're both road trip people anyway, over flying, so. But since we were going out there for the wedding, we thought, you know what, why not just make it a mini vacation for us, because we love road trips anyway. My mom is very much a river rat, I'm very much a road dog. Of course, at first we didn't totally consider a road trip to begin with because of trying to budget and trying to plan for everything. The original sort of plan was to maybe look into flying out there, but then that came with its whole cavalcade of its own problems, And so we just ended up settling on making it into a road trip. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, one of the biggest contenders, one of the biggest deciding factors is the fact that I've never flown alone, and also my mom hasn't flown in years, and we really did not want to try to figure out the LAX airport in a hurry by ourselves, knowing nothing. We were like, driving, we're much better at. Driving, big road trips we can handle. Luckily for my roommate, too, the thought of that kind of road trip from Tennessee to California was not at all daunting. Not only because me and my mom have done it before, also Georgetown very much prepared me for those kind of long road trips, to the point now where a 3-hour road trip is nothing to me, because here's a fun fact about Chey. I never flew to Georgetown. I drove with my parents or with my mom back and forth to Georgetown anytime I had to go to college or I had to come home. We drove every single time. I did not fly. Not a single time. So I got very much used to 9 to 10 hour road trips being the norm for me, considering I did them like 6 or 7 times a year. And honestly, by the time that this trip rolled around, it had been a while since I had been on a road trip like that, because I had been home since graduating G-Town since 2021, and I hadn't really been on a vacation since then. I hadn't been on a vacation before then in a while too, let's just tell the truth. But definitely hadn't been on a big road trip like that since then. And so I was excited to get back into it. I was excited to go on a road trip. I was excited, most of all, to go see my friend who I hadn't seen in years and be able to meet her fiance and see their wedding and just be able to surprise her and have a great time, and also go to California again.
But we still drove that out.
Uh-huh.
We did drive it out. Just like that hour, just poof.
Yes, time seems to do that sometimes. Get it? Sometimes. As I mentioned before, me and my mom have been out to California before. It was years ago, and funnily enough, it was for the same reason. Not for a wedding, but it was to go meet a very good friend of mine. One of my internet friends. Yes, I did actually go and meet one of my longtime internet buds face to face for the first time. It almost seems like many years ago now, but I guess it really wasn't that long ago. Oh my god, was it like 10 years ago? Jesus, I'm old. But we had been to California before, so this wasn't totally new to us. While we were used to mainly going Tennessee to the east, we also had experience going from Tennessee west. I've been to Texas and Oklahoma and Arkansas and all those numerous upon numerous times. California's not that much more of a far stretch. And like I said, we'd done it before. So I was just mainly looking forward to it all around. And I know that's not the case for a lot of people. I know a lot of people would think of the concept of doing a road trip to California like this with a deadline as being an absolute nightmare. Not for me. Maybe it's my lack of impulse control. Maybe it's my love of rocks and sky. But I was extremely excited. When people are like, there's nothing to see out west, I say, good. Leave and leave it to me. Because there's nothing I love more than rocks and sky and the West. Legitimately, the first time that we were going to California all those years ago, my mom turned to me before we even got past Arkansas, I think, and she was like, you're gonna love Arizona. Because obviously my mom traveled all around way before I was born. And I was like, why? Why do you say that? And she said, and I kid you not, you're gonna love it because it ain't nothing but rocks. Sure enough, when we crossed the Arizona border, all I could see were rocks. For as far as the eye could see, and I looked at her and I was like, I love it here. And she was like, yeah, I knew you would. And while we're at it, I'm just going to share a very controversial opinion. At least what I feel is a very controversial opinion, considering the western United States. Generally, when you get to places like Texas or Oklahoma and all that, people are like, there ain't nothing to see out there. It's all flat. There ain't nothing there. Are you blind? Are you blind? I want you to look at these cliffs and tell me there ain't nothing to see. Yeah, it looks a lot like the same. It's very similar. Like, there's not much differentiation in a lot of the landscape as compared to other states, but there ain't nothing. If you see nothing, for some reason, I don't know, like, I don't see nothing. Maybe it's the way that I view landscapes, maybe it's the way that I view geography, I don't know, it could just be my brain, but I am just utterly fascinated by any kind of landscape like that. I could just be happy standing out there. I love my forest and trees more than anything. Take me home to the woods. I could not live out there. I mean, I could, but my ideal place is in the woods and the forest. Leave me alone. You know what I mean? Jerky man. Sorry. I'm recording. I'm recording this as the video's editing and playing, and it just scrolled over the clip of the beef jerky billboard sign. By the time that I edit this is gonna be out of sync with that timed clip, but I don't care. I'm leaving that blooper in. That's too good. You'll get the context later. Anyway, yeah, I love the landscape, especially when you get further out west and when it actually starts getting into the hills and all the rocks and stuff like that. Cool, sick, awesome, love it. But I love Oklahoma and Texas and all those states where people tend to say that they're monotonous and they're similar and just boring, because I don't see it that way. I could just stare at it for hours. I see something new every direction that I look, even if it's just the way that, like, the bushes or, like, the fences are arranged. I notice so many little details that just make me so curious about the people who live there, or about the lack of people who live there, about the wildlife, about the environment. I just find something extremely fascinating and captivating to my brain in taking all of this information in. Maybe it's just my ADHD caveman brain. I don't know. I enjoy it though, and so that's partly why this has been turned into a dopamine diaries, because clearly it was very much a source of dopamine for me, even just going out for days at a time and watching these landscapes pass by that might bore anybody else to tears, but were just exciting me nonetheless, to the extent of my capability to be able to do so. And as you'll see, as these clips go on, you'll see which landscapes I like the most, considering all of the videos of rocks. I cannot stress to you how much I have cut out footage of rocks or rock formations, and don't worry, I am not going to be talking or blabbing your ear off the entire video. I just really, really like talking about this trip. And also, it's a dopamine diary. If you didn't expect it to be chatty, you must be new here, so hi, welcome. If this isn't for you, I understand. It's showcasing the purpose of the series, right? Because clearly this is giving me dopamine, and I'm telling you about the dopamine, and it's all pretty and nice, and you probably don't want to hear lo-fi music over this the entire time, do you? Well, sorry if you do. You'll get it in a minute. Just hold on to your horses. Actually, you don't gotta hold on to them, because we're out here in the wild plains, baby. They'll be alright. You can let them go, let them relax. No, but for real, I'm gonna shut up and let y'all enjoy the footage for a little bit. I just wanted to give some context and give a little excitement, share my excitement and my feelings about the situation in general, and then when we actually start getting into the events of the trip and stuff, because I guess I should give y'all further context on the actual trip besides the wedding itself, huh? Well, we decided if we were going to take our butts all the way out there and struggle for a couple of days through the countryside of the US of A, that we were going to stay out there for as long as possible before we had to come back. And so we ended up, I think, being able to stay 3 days and a morning, and that was cool, because that meant that we had a few days to explore all around LA and Santa Monica and really just get a taste. We didn't get to do a ton of stuff, obviously, because there were time constraints, but we did get to do a lot. We got to do some really cool stuff, and of course I took videos of it all. But also, I really tried to make a point on this trip, because I figured that I was going to make it a vlog of some kind, but I also wanted to make a point to not be on my phone too much. Like, besides filming clips on the trip there and on the trip home, and just clips here and there during the actual stay in LA, in Santa Monica, in California, I really tried to not live the memories through my phone, if you know what I mean. Like, I actually just tried to be as present in the moment as I could. I took clips, yes, I definitely took a lot of pictures, but my main focus was on actually internalizing the experience as I was living it, because I don't know when I'll get to go back to LA or when I'll get to go back to California or go on a road trip like this, and so I really, really wanted to savor it and really make memories that are memories, not memories of me doing the thing, but also a memory of me being on my phone, you know? And I really enjoyed it. Not only did I really enjoy it, but I also still managed to get great footage, so you can do both. We contain multitudes. I promise. There's some great clips in here, some great footage. I'll get to tell you some great stories, but for now, just enjoy the really pretty clips of the scenic sights of the US, traveling out west. It reminds me of the gift shop at Gravity Falls.
The sky looks.
Yeah. I feel like Thor's about to come down. Two rainbows in one trip.
Yeah.
That's insane. You know what's even crazier? Two rainbows in the same day. Two rainbows in the past 24 hours in two different places, in two different states. Curse. I don't think you can make up being near Meteor City and then seeing a train hauling tanks. Casual. We saw this on our way to our hotel for the night in close to Flagstaff, Arizona. And as we were driving down the road towards it, my mom pointed out that the way that the clouds and the sunset looked behind the mountains almost made it look like an optical illusion, like there was a lake around the mountains, behind the mountains, even though it was just sky. And when she said that, I couldn't unsee it. Regardless, though, it's one of the prettiest things I think I've ever seen. It's just trying to get in between, like, all these... the stuff on the windshield.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
You watching trains. You thought you'd go back.
Oh, yeah. How was your train, sir?
How muddy a daggone trunk is.
I wonder if that was the one watching the train.
It had white on it, didn't it? It doesn't have white on it right there.
I wonder if he's trying... Well, maybe all of them have white on them. I don't know. Sir, were you just watching a train? Were you,
buddy.
were you watching a train? I mean, look at all the vehicles around here. All of them are muddy. Look at that light in between it.
Yeah. That looks almost like water over here on this side.
That's absolutely insanity. While we were stopping in Flagstaff, trust me, we were very, very much tempted to go and take a detour to the Grand Canyon, but unfortunately time did not allow for it, so that's just gonna have to be a part of our future road trips. Hopefully not too far away. But trust me, we definitely thought about it, because my mom has been wanting to take me for years. Not only because it's the Grand Canyon, but also just because of how much I love rocks. Enough said. That still looks like a lake over there in the sky. That's crazy. Now that you said it, I can't unsee it. I swear we didn't come through this way the last time we went to California.
Yeah, I don't remember none of this.
I would have remembered this. You know what I remember? The desert.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna go through that too, but... I could wander out there for hours.
Damn, what you find out there?
Bodies.
Yeah.
Stuff. Bodies and stuff.
Stuff the bodies left.
Is that what I think it is? Is that what I think it is? Is that what I think it is?
The trunk.
No, he's not. Disappointed. So with that, we finally entered California, the last leg of our journey, and made the trek to Santa Monica, where we were staying, where the wedding was going to be, which was going to be our home away from home for the next few days. What a handsome little, beautiful little bird. To celebrate, we got our first official ice cream of the road trip, not to mention pizza, which both were actually surprisingly good. Besides the wedding, we didn't really have any concrete plans. We had ideas of what we wanted to do, but we were pretty flexible considering that we've been on very similar trips like this. Overall, we were just flexible to whatever we were able to fit in, but we had a couple of priorities at the top of our list. So after exploring the area a little bit, we got dinner from the restaurant that was at the bottom part of our hotel, and it was actually really good. And then the next morning, we decided to explore the area a little bit more after we got settled in, and we saw this funky little guy. What a funky little, superb little death omen. Hey, baby. There you go. A funky little guy. Then I believe it was the next day I had the wedding, and obviously I didn't film any part of that. But the church was beautiful, the ceremony was beautiful. I'm glad that I could go, and it was so nice to see one of my closest friends again, and just see her happy in her relationship and get to meet her fiance for the first time. He's really cool. They're both really cool. I love them. Then the next day, we actually headed downtown for some exploring. We figured we could knock off a lot of my priorities on my list in one day. First up on the list, going to Amoeba Records. I've seen so many videos at Amoeba over the years, heard so many stories about Amoeba, I had to visit here. Totally on my bucket list of record shops to visit, legendary record shops to visit across the world. This place was like absolute heaven. I could have stayed in here, and I did stay in here for hours, and I could definitely go back anytime. Regardless, I found a bunch of gems, I love the place, and I really wanted these two posters. It's a shame that they weren't for sale. Unless one of y'all is going to come in here and be like, actually they are for sale, you just have to ask the people at the desk. Do not tell me that, because then I will be devastated. So after a successful Amoeba Records trip, then we headed down the Walk of Fame, because of course we had to. There was really only a couple that we cared to see, and really only one that I cared at all to see. And luckily for me, it happened to be right next to another one of the sites on my list of priorities. The Capitol Records building. Yes, I know I'm ridiculous and I don't care. It just happened to work out that it was right next to the star that I wanted to see, which is, of course, my dude Bob Seger, my favorite artist of all time. Then, because that's absolutely not enough for us, we were like, you know what? It's not too late in the day. We're gonna head down to the Santa Monica Pier because we at least wanted to go see it once.
I'll be honest at this part, I was excited to see the pier, I was excited to go explore it and go look at the beach and the Pacific Ocean and admire all the beauty, but honestly I think my mom was a little bit more excited. She is very much a beach person. I am not. But I was there for the sights, I was there for the experience.
I think beautiful with the sun out there. And the beach. I think many people out there. I could get to there.
I think the crowning moment, don't let my mom hear this, Mom, mute this. The crowning moment was just watching the joy on my mom's face, seeing the beach, seeing the sunset, and just the sight before us. That's something that I'm going to treasure forever. Since we came to the pier kind of late, we didn't really have that much to do that didn't involve spending a lot of money besides just watching the sunset. But one thing that we did do was get a delicious hot dog from this stand and enjoy it together on the pier while watching the beautiful sunset go down. And truly, that just goes to show that it's the simple things in life that make up the memories that we hold the most dear, you know? This was the kind of thing that I was talking about where I was really trying to actually live the memory, not live it through my phone. So I took a quick clip and then I just ate my hot dog with my mom and we talked and watched the sunset go down over the beach and talked about the seagulls. And it was really nice. It was really beautiful.
Good? Yeah, I'm better than it, mine.
Yeah.
Do I get a tactical shuffle?
No.
Oh, you think that would be so pretty with the right frame rate.
Yeah, that would be really
That
pretty.
would be really pretty. But the car's not fast enough.
The next day was sort of an independent day for me. I kind of struck off on my own from the hotel. Me and my mom had like a days to ourselves. And the first place I went was the coffee shop next door to our hotel. The coffee shop was 10-speed coffee. But something about 10-speed coffee really like felt like homey, especially all the people that kept coming through that were clearly regulars. So I sat there for a good while and finished a manga volume. And from there, I set out on foot with a couple of destinations in mind. First on the list was this record shop that was kind of like it was in a warehouse. Even though I had planned on going there, it reminded me of being in DC with that kind of independence of being like, I'm just gonna go out and explore with these couple things in mind and just see what I discovered. Then my final stop for the night, I walked all the way to a bookstore that was about a mile from our hotel. I ended up having to get an Uber back because it was raining. But that's okay because I was planning on coming back the next day with my mom anyway. When I got back to the hotel, I pretty much had dinner and just watched the sunset for like an hour outside my hotel room window. I filmed this clip and then I just put my phone down and I literally just sat there and stared at the sky. Just taking in the vibes, taking in the moment, you know? Appreciating everything. The next day was our second to last day, so I started it off by going to the coffee shop that we had been to a few times. It's just a couple blocks up from our hotel, Tartine, I believe it's pronounced, I don't know. But I had a delicious breakfast with a mocha. Even though they spelled my name wrong every single time I went there, they definitely gave me funny stories to tell and beautiful vibes and atmosphere. Then after that, we made the trek to said bookstore I mentioned earlier, browsed around a little bit, and I got a new book. One that I've been wanting for a while actually, so it was kind of satisfying to actually get it in California and have it as like a souvenir, but also something that I've been wanting. We walked around for a little bit and then we made our way back to the Santa Monica Pier where we were able to get lunch, and it was delicious, by the way. We just sat there talking and eating our burgers and just really enjoying it. I was just having a good time. It was beautiful weather, beautiful times, and it really did feel like a memory in the making. I know, can I get more cliche? Thank you. So after lunch, we brought our towels and we went down to the beach. We had no plans on swimming, especially since it was kind of a colder, cloudier day, but we were just going to sit on the beach, talk, enjoy the sky, enjoy the sights, and read a little bit. It was a really windy day though, so what we actually ended up doing was just mainly talking and watching the seagulls. I know a lot of people don't like seagulls, but dude, I was fascinated. Watching these little dudes just floating in the wind current in the gust right there in front of us, amazing. 10 out of 10. Watched for hours, it felt like. Still not enough.
Crows are always a good sign. Looking right at me. I love you so much.
For the last morning before we headed out, I decided to keep it pretty simple. All I did was go to the cafe I was telling you about up the block from our hotel, Tartine. I brought my new book that I got from the bookshop the day before, and I also brought the latest volume of one of my favorite manga series with me. And I just sat, read, had my coffee, and had a really nice morning before we had to go. And thus began the long trek back home. Our return was a little bit more under a time crunch, considering that we had one less day to get back home than we did to go out there, but you know what? We're pros at this by now. It was still enjoyable. It's funny, because in this return portion of the video, I definitely have more clips of me and my mom having fun little banter about stuff that we see on the road. We had a lot on the way down there, but I don't know, it just seems like I caught more of it on film on the way home, so yeah, enjoy that kind of chaos that's coming up. Such as this license plate, which will forever remain in my head forever and always.
What does it mean?
That I still don't understand, and I'm not sure that I want to.
Definitely not gazelle.
It had been the antelope we seen that day. See, I told you they had a zoo. Look.
Time us to see how long it takes us to get up there.
One of my adventures that I had while in California, I thought I had footage of, but I guess I didn't take any footage of that whole adventure. During my little independent day where I went to the bookstore and I went to the record store, all that by myself, I also took a trip down into the actual, like, LA downtown by myself. Studio City? I don't know. Don't come for me. I'm not from there, okay? I was down there just to explore around, walk around all the shops and stuff like that, and I took an Uber through Beverly Hills, which was wild for me because I know that there's no other way that I'm ever going to be able to, like, go to Beverly Hills on my own or know anyone in Beverly Hills, so I just enjoyed the moment while I could, also because Beverly Hills Cop is one of my favorite movies of all time. Beverly Hills Cop 2 is the superior one. Again, don't come for me.
I like those rocks. They look like Arizona. That is so funny. Harkening back to your original comment. You're gonna love Arizona. I don't know why. It's full of rocks. Me, I love those rocks. You, it's Arizona! They look like they would be the lair of a villain in a movie. If I was Sauron, that would be my castle. I'm also sad, one of my missed opportunities was that when we passed by Beverly Hills, like City Hall or whatever, I wanted to take a picture outside of it because of Beverly Hills Cop, but I didn't get to. Oh well, there's always next time. Anyway, when I went down into Studio City or whatever it was by myself to walk around and explore the shops and stuff, I kind of went at the suggestion of a friend who was giving me all kinds of recommendations about food and things to do in the area, and I was like, you know what, this will be the perfect way to, like, end my little day of independence and stuff like that. Road work ahead. Yeah, I bet it don't.
Funnily enough, I didn't know at the time that I was going to end the day at the bookstore and then going back to the hotel because of rain and watching the sunset, but still, I was like, this is going to be fun. This is a fun time. And I did. I had a very fun time. I got delicious pizza that my friend recommended. They were absolutely right, and I will be taking every food-related suggestion they ever give me from now on. I picked up a few little souvenirs, and I just had a good walk around the area. I wish I had more time to actually explore and someone to explore it with, but hopefully there's always a next time. This just in, I just did a quick Google Maps search, and I'm an idiot. Don't listen to me. It was not Studio City, it was Culver City, okay? That's where I went and had my little day. And if you're curious about what the food recommendation that I took from my friend was and very much enjoyed, it was the pizza at Roberta's in Culver City. Highly recommend. I enjoyed it. 10 out of 10. We'll be back the next time that I'm in the area. Makes me think of a day to remember, talking about like they pulled over in the side of the road the first time they all saw snow and throwing it at each other.
Wish I had me a little cabin up there somewhere on the mountain.
Oh, he's hopping again.
There he is. I can't see him.
see
I'm looking at the one on the roof.
Come on over here so she can see you hopping.
I can't even see him on my camera.
It's right here.
No, I saw that one.
Oh.
Tell Mammon I said hello. Puffy little guy.
Oh, he hopped up on the trash can.
Oh, I see him.
He was hopping around.
Spotted.
Oh, here comes one. Here comes one.
Ah! Oh my gosh, what magnificent fellows.
One on each corner. Pineapple.
My friends. My loved ones. Guardians of the McDonald's.
Guardians of McDonald's.
How else would you refer to them? Look at... I wish you could see how magnificent they are. There they go. They have served their purpose well. Now what are your plans? I cannot believe you compared them to those trash bird seagulls. I love seagulls too. I do not hate any birds, but crows are
Where's that water
special.
coming from on top of that daggone car over there?
It's coming from the top of the gas station. See? The mobile is peeing.
How much water's up there?
I don't...
It's been going for 2 minutes.
I don't know, but I want the crows. When shall they return? I just realized the people at the window are gonna think that like I'm filming crows. Leave me alone. It's crazy that this is Arizona. This is Arizona. Like, are you kidding me? Arizona. Snow. Snow. As far as the eye can see. And it's still currently snowing. What? I didn't get the video of it, but I got it. The fact that this is the Two Guns exit with Canyon Diablo is like so Trigun coded. It's not even funny. It should be 3 guns and then, or 12 guns and then Canyon Diablo. But it's hilarious. On with those clouds, bro.
Yeah, it rained today. So I think it done moved out by now, wouldn't it?
Not necessarily.
2 or 3 hours ago. Couple hours.
It's got a lot of land to move through.
Keep on going ahead of us.
I was telling y'all about how we've taken road trips out west before, namely the one that we took to meet my friend to begin with the first time we went to California, but we also took a trip out west once to go along Route 66 for part of the summer. And along that specific trip, we came across a gem of the West that we do not have in Tennessee, and honestly, it is a crying friggin' shame. Brahms. I don't know if that's how you say it, that's how I say it. Brahms. Ever since we first got that restaurant on our Route 66 trip, it lives rent-free in my head, alright? And whenever we were planning this trip to California, I was like, okay, we're going through Texas, we're going through Oklahoma, we gotta find one. We gotta find one, we gotta get the ice cream, we gotta get the burgers, we just have to have it. It is like the delicacy that you have to have. It's like the cuisine of that area for me, personally. Which is so stupid to say, but like I love it so much. And we actually kept track of like how many were on the highway, where we passed them at, like the closest one that we were gonna hit coming back from California, the one closest to home. We've kept details now. That is how much we're fans, and we've only been twice, okay? 2 or 3 times. Either way, it was a highlight of this trip for me, especially coming back home. It was like a little reward. It was like a treat for a whole few days of treating myself. You see what I see? You see what I see? Mac? I ain't no Mac. I'm a Peterbilt for dang sake. There's a whole hog of them. God bless. At this point, we were closing in on home, and honestly, I was quite ready to be home. I'm a road dog, like I said, but I also like being able to go home at the end of the night, so I was ready to return to my animals, ready to return to my bed, and just get a nice long sleep in my own bed. Wake up to my own coffee and my own breakfast. This was such a fun trip though. I miss road trips so much. Me and my mom had so much fun together. I had so much fun at my friend's wedding with their friends and their new husband, and just getting to see them after so long and seeing them so happy. Seeing them so surprised that I actually managed to show up. It was just a trip full of joy, a trip full of new experience, especially for me. And I feel extremely, extremely lucky that I was able to go on it, especially with someone like my mom, and get to have those experiences, because we did more road trips when I was younger, but of course high school and college got busy, and this is our first one we've really done since probably I was in high school, so a very long time. It was really neat to get to have an experience with her like that as an adult, and just the overall experience in general. Now that I have lived in a city when I was in college and like know more about my own independence, my own autonomy, and how to navigate a city, even one that I'm not from, but I know how to safely kind of explore it, you know, in my own way throughout the day when it's safe to, relatively, and discover new things and just overall have a good time by myself. Yet also be able to turn around and have equally as great times with whoever I'm traveling with. It was just a fun experience. It was my first big trip as a full-fledged college graduate adult, which is kind of weird, but also really cool. But until then, I am very happy looking back at all the memories that I made on this trip in particular. And if you're curious about me and Mama Chey's pro tips of how we survive the long car rides besides our hilarious banter, clearly we're enough to entertain ourselves. We also just listen to a lot of music. We're both crazy about music. And this particular trip, we listened to a lot of Distractable, because I was very much behind on episodes. don't tell Mark, Bob, and Wade. But I got her to listen to a lot of Distractable, and we had a really good time. That's our pro tips. Music, have a good chatting partner, and a great podcast, preferably Distractables. But I'm not biased or anything. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out. Trying to get a backlog of videos done and out. Lots more coming real soon. I'm not opposed to doing travel vlogs like this in the future. I am gonna do vlogs in the future, so who knows what's gonna pop up on this channel. If you want to stick around to find out, subscribe and find out.
You know you're home when you see the giant brass pro pyramid.
But that's for right now. Thank you so much for watching, and if you ain't heard it from anyone else today, I love you. Love and peace. Bye!